Hello, beautiful Earth Angels. Welcome to Team Joanna. My name is Joanna. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you stay. I hope you like what you hear. And if it feels right to you, maybe just click on the subscribe button or the notification button to let you know when I upload new information. And more than anything, thank you for spending your time and energy being here with me. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much. I will always say this till the day I end up doing this, till the end of the day, that I do this because of you. I do this for you. I do it for myself, yes, because it feels good to connect, but I really do it for you. If there was no you, if there were no yous out there, I probably wouldn't put myself through various rigorous things that I put myself through in order to have a higher understanding so that I can share this understanding with you. So it is because of you that you help me grow. You being there for me to watch my videos is extremely beneficial to my growth. It is part of my growth. So thank you for helping me grow. Likewise, I hope that what I present here will help you grow in some way, shape, or form. And my intention is always to provide to you information that at the end of the day helps you reflect upon who you really are, maybe who you want to be, and recognize your own inner dialogue, your own inner truth. So my job really is to help you recognize your own truth. And the ultimate truth is that we are all part of all there is. And all there is at the end of the day is consciousness, and its highest expression is the frequency of unconditional love. So my job is to help and remind you that this is who you are. Therefore, if you are denying yourself love, prosperity, abundance, joy, happiness, then what you are really doing is you are denying yourself an aspect of you. And that causes a lot of misalignment. So my job is to help you deal with your own misalignment so that hopefully sooner rather than later you can become much more aligned. And when you are aligned with your soul, you end up being more comfortable in going with the flow. And we humans like to control things. So when there are changes happening, we are not so easy to just let it happen. So bottom line is that as we are changing, the things we are holding on to will need to change as well. So if you are a fire sign, this message is for you. I will do the general message first, and I will do in the individual fire signs at the very end. Don't skip this message because this general message is most important. The other messages are just a little bit extra. So that is going to be the bulk of your message. If you are wanting to connect with me, that information is down below. Also, if you want to be a part of a private group, Facebook group that we have, Joanna the Healer, there's a link there for you as well. We have, I believe, over 5,500 members, private members, where we get to share ideas and share experiences in a community that is of like-minded individuals, made up of like-minded individuals, and that is ultimately supporting and protecting and supporting of our spiritual growth. So if you want to be a part of that, there's a link below. I have an Instagram page where I do almost daily channeled messages, very short but very punchy messages, and it's under Joanna the Healer. And I think that's all I've got. That's all I've got as far as my information and how to get a hold of me or how to reach me. All right. So if you're if you are an element of air, if you're Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. I have Sagittarius as my moon sign. For those of you who don't know, my sun sign is Taurus. If you are an air sign, chances are that in the month of September and going forward, it's not exclusive to September only, but I feel for the remainder of this year and part of next year, what we will be doing, or the energy is supportive of us addressing our own polarities. So polarities is essentially a misalignment. So for example, you are love. Whether you believe it or not, that's a different story, but you are made of particles that its highest expression frequency is unconditional love. Yet you deny yourself love. How messed up is that, right? That is polarity. And we have a lot of these polarities within us. These polarities keep us confined in our own inner prisons. And these inner prisons are very hard to get out of, because these inner prisons often serve as protection, as weird as it sounds. So if you are hearing this, chances are you already have or will shortly be addressing some level of polarity you have within you. For example, if you feel that you are not good enough, let's use that example. Ask yourself, why not? What says, or who says that you are not good enough? Well, you may say, because someone so-and-so told you. Okay, well, why do you believe them? Why do you believe that you are not good enough? Well, because they know what they're talking about. Okay, well, that is one way of dealing with it. Or you can simply say that's their opinion and not buy into it. So to yourself, you're still not good enough, regardless of what they may think. And that's just a very simplified example of what I mean. Oftentimes, we adhere to certain beliefs about ourselves without ever paying attention as to why. Why do we adhere to those beliefs? It's something we just don't think about. If you're an insecure person, for example, why are you an insecure person? What makes you an insecure person? And who decides where you are no longer insecure? And it's a feeling, right? And since it's a feeling, it comes from within you. So again, insecurity is used as just a general, to give you an idea of what we're talking about. But the message is simply, we are looking within, honing within, if you will, and looking at what makes us tick, looking at our polarities. Okay, that is a big theme. When I tuned into the energy before starting the camera, I heard everything you experience is for you, not against you or happening to you. And that's a very, very important distinction. Why? Because when it happens for you, there is a presumption or assumption that you must benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. You may just not be aware of how you are benefiting from this right now. Okay, so there is a benefit, there is value. When it's happening to you and it's uncomfortable, then it presumes the idea that it's happening against your free will or not according to your wishes, which makes you essentially someone that things happen to, which essentially makes you a person who is not in control of what happens to you. And that's very much the victim mentality. And we all have been victims of something. That's just a fact of life. And some of the things we have been victims of are things I shatter at. So it doesn't mean that we have not been victimized. It means if you believe that things happen to you, then you are constantly playing that victim. And that victim mentality has to go. At a certain point, we all need to realize that we do hold internal power and we have the ability to use our power, even within the constraints of the life we live in, of the rules, regulations, laws, and yada, yada, yada. Okay? For example, what you believe is under your control, not somebody else's. So if you believe in something because someone else says you should, particularly if it doesn't serve you, then you are effectively being a victim of your circumstance. You are being told what to do. And except for a few rare circumstances, no one really wants to be told what to do. We like order, we like direction, yes, yes, yes. But none of us want to be confronted with being in a situation where we do not get to practice or choose our free will, because that then becomes us being in a prison or a confinement. So the first point of reflection over the next little while is to address any internal conditions that make you feel like you are a victim. And if you still feel that you are a victim, which means you have been victimized and you are holding on to that energy, so that energy is still holding you back, then you have to find a way you don't have to do anything, but it would be a good idea to find a way to make peace with whatever has happened back then where you were victimized. Okay? Because when you make peace with that is you essentially take your power back. And I feel that we are stepping into times where we are learning or realizing or becoming aware or waking up to the reality that there is a lot more power to us than what we were led to believe. Now, when I say led to believe, I'm not saying that we are all sheep, with blinders on. You're born into a society and society shapes you. That's just the fact of life. And as society's consciousness grows, our experiences evolve. So we are moving from, I almost want to say, inner obscurity to inner abundance. What does that mean? Inner obscurity to me symbolizes a sense of lack. A sense of lack. Inner abundance is the opposite of that. And we are moving into the space of inner abundance. And inner abundance requires us, as a person, to recognize our gifts, our abilities, our whatever it is that makes us unique, and learn to love it and accept it. That's when internal abundance starts to become visible. When we begin to unconditionally accept ourselves for who we are at any given moment. It does not mean we cannot change or we don't want to change. No. But we're moving from self-rejection to self-acceptance. We're moving from exclusivity to inclusivity, which is essentially the power of one. So big message here, if you're an air sign, and quite frankly, fire sign, and quite frankly, if you're listening to this, it doesn't have to be that you're a fire sign, but if it resonates with you, it resonates with you because it's an energy. It doesn't just pick specific signs. And this is an overall energy that I feel that's happening across the board. Okay, it is of no surprise to anyone that we are living in a time of tremendous change or possible change. We're living in a time of chaos on various levels, and chaos is often necessary in order to transition into something new. It's almost like without certain chaos, there is nothing that can be new. And chaos is essentially a whole bunch of things being thrown up in the air, a whole bunch of mess, and then the mess has to slowly come back to the ground and ground itself. But when it grounds itself differently. So there's a reason why we feel like things are up in the air, because they are. Energetically speaking, and, well, figuratively speaking, a lot of things are up in the air. It's like this energy is helping us get to the other side. The other side. The other side meaning the other side of the veil. What is veil? Veil is what separates us from greater truth. So this chaos is helping us move beyond this veil, where we can actually see and experience greater truth. And I can tell you, this message is not for air signs only. That's for damn sure. It's across the board. So if you're experiencing chaos in your life, internally or externally, to whatever degree, know that you're not alone. And clearly, you know you're not alone. Nonetheless, it's not a comfortable process. And the card that actually represents September for fire signs. Why do I keep saying air signs? Fire signs, thank you. I don't know why. Is the Patience card, number 14, in reverse. Okay. So, month of September may feel a little bit funky. You might lose your temper. You may feel extra irritated. You may feel extra on edge. And I will explain why this is happening. And remember, you feeling on edge and picking up all this energy, remember step number 1, if you will. Everything that's happening, everything you're experiencing is experiencing for you. So even the edginess in some way is important for you to experience in order for you to get to the other side. It's part of the process, and the edginess is a symptom. Okay? Just because you have a symptom, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is something wrong. It just simply means you are experiencing some energies that are keeping you, that are activating some stuff for you, but it may not necessarily be anything within you that needs to be addressed. You're just experiencing a lot of energies. Okay, so for example, we live in a time where there's a lot of fear up in the air with this virus, right? And hearing about it or seeing it or both, and it's always somehow in your face, it kind of gets to you, right? So you might get extra dose of that irritation. Sounds like in a month of September. Now, September being a 9th month, interestingly enough, 9 being all about letting go. So don't be surprised if in the month of September, October, or somewhere there, this will make sense to you by the end of the year. Don't be surprised if you end up shutting some door behind you. And for some of you, you're literally like slamming it shut. So you might get really angry and walk out on a person or a situation, never to be seen again. Or this is metaphorical. This is something metaphorical that says something within you, some way you've been practicing your life, the way you've been practicing living, you're done with that. You're done with that. For example, this is an example that's coming up. If you frequently call yourself names, like loser, for example, or an idiot, even if it's just under funny situations, you may realize that words have power. And even though they're very innocent, when you keep on saying that to yourself, it affects you in some way. And that eventually ends up sticking to you. Okay, it certainly doesn't help you become more confident. It kind of erodes your confidence with time. So you may decide that from this point forward, you are not going to call yourself names. And even though you will call yourself names because it's your pattern and it takes a while to move into a completely different pattern, at least you will become aware when you do call yourself names, so that when you call yourself a name, you remember not to do it next time when you have the urge to. Okay, so that might be how you end up closing a door on something that was a part of you and no longer will be. And effectively, that's what we are doing. We are changing the way we think, which changes the way we feel by practicing mindfulness. Okay? And when we practice mindfulness, well, that's dealing with polarity. How do we deal with polarity? First, we have to become mindful of it being there. Anyway, you get the picture. Okay? I also saw that this energy for September was kind of sort of about stagnation. It was not, I didn't feel there was a lot of movement. Although there is movement indicated, but I feel this movement is not in September. So if you're a fire sign, I want to keep saying air, I don't know why. If you're a fire sign, or air for that matter, if you're a fire sign, fire, yes, fire. If you're a fire sign, chances are there is big movement happening in your life, internally or externally. It may not be happening in September. Maybe for some of you, it's going to be October, November, December, or even early next year, first part of next year. Because there is movement indicated. As a matter of fact, positive movement is indicated. We are moving on to bigger and better, where the clouds are gone, there's more clarity. The sun shows our path, which means illumination. Look at the water, which is the emotional body. It's fairly calm. So we are looking, when you look at this vision, to me, it speaks, there's a certain level of serenity. There's a certain level of serenity. There is some unknown here because I can't see anything other than the sun. But it's for the most part, it's fairly peaceful. So we are absolutely moving on to new energies, to new places, but we may not know exactly what the place is. Okay? But it's not about the place. If you're listening to this, you know it's not about the place. We're not moving into a physical place. We're moving into an internal vibrational space. Wavelength, vibrational. Yeah, it's an internal movement. And that internal shift then dictates the outside. So what I'm saying is, when we begin to shift on the inside, the outside often follows. Okay? Time for reflection. I mean, what can I say? And the way the card appeared to me was like this. So sometimes I look at them reversed and sometimes I don't. It just depends how it feels to me at the time. What it feels to me like in reverse is the message: do not look away from your problems. Face your problems instead. You may not know how to fix a problem per se. You may not know how to fix it yet, but it's important that you face it. Okay? This is not a time to push things under the carpet. Because, well, we know that it doesn't work. Eventually it ends up stinking anyway. But undoubt things will show up even greater down the road. So you might as well deal with whatever problems you have head on. Again, you may not know exactly how to fix a problem or situation, but you can face it. You can look at it. to understand it. I think you guys know what I mean when I say face your problems. Don't run away from your problems, because there is nowhere to run to. It goes with you. Your problem will go with you. It doesn't matter where you go. Okay? Very important. Now, because we're in a space of clarity or clearing, hopefully to have more clarity, clearing, it is, here's how I want to show it to you. The energy that we are in right now is very supportive for self-reflection. Very, very, very supportive for self-reflection. The reason for that is that we're able to recognize things deep within us that we were not able to recognize or see before. There is almost like a readiness factor. There is this readiness. So if you've been not dealing with something for quite a while, chances are the universe will give you opportunities to face it, which means it'll show up in your face. When it shows up in your face, don't ignore it. Don't necessarily try to fix it right away, but at least attempt to understand it. Because at the end of the day, what we are all seeking really is higher understanding. Okay? Understanding is consciousness. So the clearing energies that are extremely supportive to closing out old cycles and creating opportunities for new beginnings. But we first must face some things that have been holding you back. I'll give you an example. I have been experiencing a lot of resistance, and I talk about this a lot, to the point that I'm sick and tired of talking about my resistance. But it is what it is. And I suspect because I'm being urged to talk about it, most of you are experiencing the same thing. If you're not now, you will be later. It's just part of change. We don't like to change because there's an element of unknown. But anyway, so this persistence has been really annoying, really opulent, which is a play on words. It's been really, really strong. I don't want to say bad, but it's strong. So I really had to tune into it to recognize, what is it that I am resisting? And what keeps coming back over and over is that I am resisting to be fully in my power. I'm resisting to be fully in my power. Now, how messed up is that? Why on earth would I be afraid of stepping into my power? Well, for me personally, because it represents me being out there, represents some form of punishment. So in my growing up experiences, I have been punished pretty much essentially for being myself. Always have been told, why can't you be like somebody else? And there's other lifetimes that are connected to that where I lost my life for being myself. And if you're listening to this, you'll resonate with this on some level, okay? And that is the truth. That is my deep truth. I have a lot of resistance because there is a fear element. And that fear is what's going to happen to me when I step outside. Okay? Whether it's judgment, whether it's fear of not being recognized, that's not for me. The judgment is for me because it ultimately leads to what I have been working with a lot is a fear of abandonment. Okay? I mean, there are so many layers to us. I find it fascinating. I just freaking love it. But because I'm aware of it, it's like, okay, there's still this thing within me that is afraid. I'm still, so I don't trust myself. So I'm recognizing that I still have challenges with trusting myself. And I'm embracing the fact that I still have this trust issue. And I'm no longer pushing it away. To say it differently, I am accepting the fact that there is still a part of me that says I'm scared to be all that I am. Because there is some deeply rooted trauma that has not been healed. Okay? Am I going to let that stop me from whatever I'm doing? Apparently not. So they say. Apparently not. It slows me down for sure. But it ultimately is something that I not have to get over, but I have to walk through, move through. So many of you will experience similar things. So I choose to look at my resistance and go into it and really recognize, what is this about for me? Because if it's that strong, then there must be something within me that's trying to say something really important. So I better listen. Okay? And as I'm saying this, I'm hearing wonderful things happen when you begin to recognize yourself for the gem that you are, which is your divinity. Okay? Astral travel. On the bottom it says caution needed. I actually couldn't quite get much from it, so I had to look into the meaning of the card. And the moment I read it, it's like, oh, that makes perfect sense, because it appeared to me this way. So the message here is, be mindful of others' influences on you. This card speaks to me about energetic boundaries. To know what's yours and what isn't, and don't accept anything just because. I'm trying to see if I can say it in a different way, but they're asking me to kind of to leave it like this, and I can see that it can be interpreted in various different ways. So however you interpret it, it's right for you. But here's what I want to say. And I'm actually surprised I'm saying this. I hear the words mass manipulation. Mass manipulation. And I'm not into that kind of stuff. So this is interesting for me. Don't be easily manipulated. And you will not, or you will be less likely to be easily manipulated when you know yourself. Okay? And when you accept yourself for the gem that you are. Okay? I'm not saying don't be influenced by wonderful things. I think you know what I'm getting at. So, because this is global energy, that energy is going to affect every single person in various different ways. Some people a lot and some not so much. So this energy of mass manipulation may actually make you irritable. Okay. I felt for months, I've said it in other signs and I'm going to say it here, that September somehow was highlighted for me, and I don't know why. I still don't know why, other than that it is an important month and it's shown to me with an exclamation mark. And as I'm saying it, what they're saying here is it's really important that you know who and what to listen to, and check in with your own inner guidance to see what resonates, if it resonates. Some of it may resonate, some of it may not resonate, some of it may resonate a little bit or a lot and not a whole lot. So there's no black and white, but this is not a time to be indecisive in terms of knowing where you stand. Okay? Make a commitment to yourself to know where you stand. If you do not know where you stand, choose a side. Choose where you want to stand. Very important message. And the reason why I feel this is coming, in fact, I can see it, is when we know where we stand, we are like strong oak trees, where if there's a storm, and a big storm at that, the tree doesn't even move. A little tree could get blown away, torn apart, disassembled into pieces. Not a big, thick oak tree. So you understand what I'm trying to say. When you know where you stand, you're less likely to A, be manipulated, and B, to be anxious, because when you know where you stand, it's equivalent to feeling at home. There's a safety and security, stability with that. When you don't know where you stand, you don't have stability. You naturally want stability, so you'll be pushed around trying to figure out where your stability is. And I feel that because there's so much influential energy around us, and I feel there will be a lot more influential energy where, like, we're going to be asked to choose, whether in our own personal lives or globally. It's very interesting how it's coming across. It's really important that we know where we stand. Okay? The words are, again, mass manipulation. And again, I'm not into this kinds of stuff. I don't do any, theories. I'm a middle of the road girl. But that is the words. Okay? Also, our minds can also manipulate us. Our minds can tell us a whole bunch of lies. So the month of September has to be, or would be beneficial for it to be a time of reflection. Create quiet moments in your life to reflect. Make that your number one priority and responsibility. I'm not saying ditch all your other responsibilities, of course, but make that one of your top priorities. It's very important. Be very mindful who and what you listen to, so that you are not, be careful who and what you listen to, as this is a time where you could be easily influenced if you do not know where you stand. Okay, and I hear the words bullying tactics. So we might be dealing with some bullying tactics, and I don't know about you, I was bullied before, and that is not a great place to be, particularly because those of us that have been bullied, chances are is we never knew where we stood. That's why we couldn't stand up for ourselves. So don't let yourself be bullied, whether it is your boss, your partner, your friend, your associate, your coworker. Don't let yourself be bullied. So that's a message for some of you. I don't know for who, but that's a message for some of you. Okay. Is there anything else I have for fire signs? No, I will say this. The vision of a triangle came up for you guys, and I channeled this information, I think, in my last weekly pulse. I don't know why triangle. I'm still trying to figure that out, but it apparently makes sense to different people. So if you're seeing frequently triangles, or something with the triangle is connecting with you, that symbolism is somehow very, very important. Okay. What it also showed me as far as the energy in September, and remember, it's just not September, it's going to be whenever you hear it, but I'm putting these out in September. We are facing some hard work where we will have to put in a ton of effort or a lot of effort, but at the end of the day, I see us reaching this top, this pinnacle. So this could be personally in your life, where you are moving in a new direction, and whatever this direction is, there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of work and effort you're going to put into it in order to reach whatever that direction is for you. There's nothing bad about it. It just shows me that there is substantial effort being applied in order for us to achieve something great. And that's why I feel it's important that we know where we stand, because if we do not know where we stand with these energies, and I will call this, well, strong energies, we may get swayed in different directions, which may make us feel like we are not in control, which will make us feel like we are a victim. Interesting energy. So if you're an astrologer and this is kind of somehow aligning with the stars, do let me know, because that always fascinates me. All right. And always remember this. You are the one responsible for your own happiness. I am not saying that other people don't benefit or things outside of you don't benefit. Of course they do. Of course they do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you need to decide what or who you rely on to make you feel good. You can have a whole bunch of stuff going on around you that you are not pleased with, but it may not affect you in a way that takes your joy away. You may still be surrounded by situations that you're not really terribly overly excited about, but inside of you can still have that sureness and awareness and groundedness and this inner voice that says, despite all of this that's happening, we are exactly where we need to be. And we have this almost unwavering confidence that whatever we are experiencing is a big part of all there is. Okay? And we're all part of it. Okay? So let us go to each individual sign. So let me just pick a deck of cards. Which cards would you like? Which cards should I use? I will use the regular tarot. So in the other signs, actually no, I'll use this one. In the other signs, I was shuffling cards and sometimes the cards didn't show up, but I was receiving messages, so I was just giving messages based on what I was getting. So you may or may not get a card. Don't be terribly disappointed. It's just, that's how my team is working with me. It's essentially to help me trust in what I receive. Pardon me, not necessarily what I see. So cards really are like a baby blanket for me. It's my little security blanket. And that's because there's a part of me that is wavering. So, and I'm sharing this with you because there's a part of your life inevitably where you feel the same way. I mean, after all, we're all humans. We share the same feelings and emotions. We all have the same desires, and pretty much we all have the same fears. So we just experience it very differently because of our own unique personal point of view or perception. Okay, so we are moving towards Aries. Maybe it's because of the word Aries makes me think of air, but no, you guys are fire. So show me, what do I need to see? If you're a sign of Aries, what do you need to see? Some of you, Aries, are closing the door on something. You're moving out. You're taking a break. You're liquidating, that's the word, liquidating, so that's going to apply to very few of you, or eliminating certain structures in your life that you have depended on. So for some of you, you are eliminating the need to go to work every day, and instead you will be working from home. So that's just one example, and it's actually a very viable example because that's been happening all over the place. Okay? And depending on how you see it and where your life is, that may be a very good thing for you. If that's the case for you, if you are moving to be working more from home, it may require extra discipline on your part. So if you relied on structure a lot and now you have to create your own structure, be very diligent That is a very interesting message if you're a sign of Aries. The next vision I have is a person hiding into a manhole. I'm like, why would you be hiding in a manhole? Obviously, if you're hiding, it's because you're trying to protect yourself. So the message here is, if you're a sign of Aries, don't try to make yourself invisible. Don't try to make yourself invisible. Stand out for what you believe. And some of you need to say something, or you have a lot to say, and you've been putting a lid on it for too long. So this is all about expression. However, choose your words wisely. Okay? So this is going to be for some of you. For some of you, I see you being distracted. You're doing something, but your mind is somewhere else. So that's obviously wonderful. Nothing wrong with that, except if you are driving or if you're operating some machinery, you want to make sure that you stay focused and on task. So that is a message for some of you out there. Okay? Be mindful. It's like I see somebody chopping something and their mind is somewhere else, and all of a sudden they chop the wrong thing because they were not focusing. So that's if you're easily distracted, make sure that when operating heavy machinery or a car, which is machinery, you reduce the level of your distraction. Okay? Because I see some of you being very much in your mind a lot. Okay? Message for some of you, and I hope it's for none of you, but there is a message here. Watch out for the pedestrians. So there might be a person out there who is driving, lost in their thoughts, and this person drives through a pedestrian walk, or worse yet, does something far worse than that. So I don't know who this message is for. I don't usually give out messages like this, but this is important for me, enough for me to see it, so I'm giving it to you. Okay? Be mindful. The message is be mindful. And we can all get distracted. It's not an unusual thing. For some of you, Aries, really pay attention to your food choices. It's not just food in your mouth and what you eat, but food in your thought, in what you receive and what you bring into your energy. Okay? Because I hear a lot of mindless chatter. It has to do with the word invisible. So if you are someone who has been making themselves invisible, you have a lot of chatter going on. Okay? It's important to address this chatter. And that the reason for that is the chatter represents a part of you that wants to be released or freed. So as we're moving into these new energies, and these energies being supportive of growth, our inner growth, you addressing the chatter stand a really good chance of actually addressing it for good. Now, I don't know about you. I'm a Taurus sun, Libra rising, Sagittarius moon, whatever that means. I think it means I feel deeply. I think I do. I forgot what I was going to say. Completely lost my train of thought. But anyway, I think that's all we have for the sign of Aries. Is that it? Yes. Here's what I was going to say. If you can, the idea of putting the end to a chatter, to mindless chatter, for me, that's like winning gold. That's like probably the greatest gift that I could receive, is to quiet down my mind chatter. Because without the mind chatter, wow, we could do so much more. So much more. So, if it comes up for you in the next little while, your mind chatter, the energy is supporting supportive of you understanding what your mind chatter is all about and effectively how to heal it. So that's a big message if you're an Aries. Apparently in Vedic astrology, I am also Aries. So I'm going to take this as my message and I'm going to accept it because I want it to be true. I choose to be free of mind chatter, my mind chatter. Oh, that would be so amazing. It will be so amazing. All right. We're moving on to Leos. For some of you, you may know I have 2 Leos in my life. Not in my mouth, in my life. 2 of them are male. They're very similar to each other. And I love them dearly. So a card popped up. Here's how it shows. Let's see what it is. Ooh, victory and success. So this is in reverse. You may feel a little bit defeated. However, what I want to say is it's temporary. And to me, it almost feels like you're trying something new and something doesn't go as well as you hoped. And you see this as a failure. And what I hear is, it's not only not a failure, it's not even a setback. It's something that you needed to experience, to learn from, because whatever the learning is, you're taking it to the next stage. And it's going to be different thing for different people. So if there is a disappointment happening in your life, it doesn't have to be anything big. Okay? Let's say you've applied for a job that you really, really wanted, and you got the answer that unfortunately, you didn't make the cut. Obviously, you're going to be disappointed because you wanted the job. But what you're not realizing is that because it's happening for you, you not getting this job means you're going to get something far, 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 far better that you haven't even thought of yet before. Okay? So whenever you have a little bit of a disappointment, anytime, but especially now, always remember, everything that you experience is for you. So even the disappointment has something of value to you. What we need to do is we need to recognize it. And sometimes we cannot recognize it until way, way later. Hindsight, right? So that's what I'm getting at. What I'm also getting at, because of this disappointment, it's like something shifts or changes, and this disappointment ushers a new idea. And it's almost like, okay, let's go with the example of a job. You wanted a job, you didn't get it, and you're disappointed. And then you have a talk with somebody and they say, hey, you should try doing this on your own because you're really good at it. And they're like, maybe this is my message. Maybe I should do that. And so you not getting the job is a blessing in disguise, except it's no longer in disguise. It's in full view. So that's the kind of sort of energy that I see. So overall, even though this is initially what I see, there is success with that. And I hear the word independence. So for some of you Leos, whatever the disappointment is, it ultimately leads you to become much more independent. I like that message very much. Is there another? I'm actually loving how this is flowing, by the way. Yeah. Oh, by the way, going back to lives, I will be doing lives starting with October again. This month, I'm just, quite frankly, my energy is all over the place, and I'm in a lot of resistance, so it's not happening this month. So there's another card. Ooh. So this is Solitude, the Hermit, I believe. Don't shy away from going within, but also don't make yourself isolated. You may experience a slight disappointment, and you may want to go into isolation. What I'm getting here is self-blame. There may be something disappointing happening in your life, and you're gonna doubt or blame. What I want you to remember is this: whatever the disappointment is temporary, and remember, everything that's happening is happening for you. For you. So with this message, I want you, if you're feeling disappointed, I want you to go within and ask yourself, what part of you feels disappointment? And generally that part of you needs some nurturing. So there is a self-nurture being implied. Learning how to self-nurture. I think for some of you, this may be around codependency. So you might be in a codependent relationship or have a tendency towards codependency, and you don't get something the way you want, and that allows you to become less codependent. Okay? But there is some self-blame going on here. So for some of you, Leos, you're dealing with some self-blame. But remember, the overall energies, we're dealing with polarity. Okay? So it sounds like some of you Leos may use some shadow work. Okay? And again, as I'm conversing, I'm seeing the image of the world. So again, you are coming to an end of a cycle. We are all coming into end of cycles and entering new cycles. So this disappointment may very much complete a cycle for you where you begin something new. So that is for you, Leos and Sagittarius. So like I mentioned, my moon is in Sagittarius. So show me. Okay. So what I'm getting is a light bulb going on. So if you're a Sagittarius, get ready for some enlightenment. And this enlightenment comes as a result of you searching and searching deep. And whatever it is that you are searching for or searching deep, the lights come on. What happens when the lights come on? We end up seeing clearly. So there is some clarity being shown. There's a clarity coming to you. Enlightenment. I see the word enlightenment. Clarity or enlightenment. Okay, now what is this? Ooh, awareness, or it's a magician in reverse. So if you're Sagittarius, what I see here is you're almost ready, but you're holding yourself back. Ultimately, we'd love to have this card in this position. Okay, and this magician, or in this case, it's awareness. This being is intuitively guided. Okay, I feel some of you are blocking yourself because you're scared. You're scared of not being good enough. You're scared of not being accepted. You're scared of being rejected. All the things that we humans deal with, our shadow selves. Okay, I see the word incomplete. Perhaps some of you feel that you're not complete and you're looking for something to complete you. Let me tell you something. There is nothing incomplete about you. You are already complete. Okay? When we feel like we're incomplete, it is usually because we reject aspects of ourselves, and that rejection causes a void, which we then try to fill with outside sources. Okay? Self-rejection is a big thing. So if you are rejecting yourself in some way, and you'll know by looking at how you communicate with your thoughts, then you're not in your full power. Okay. What else can I say about this awareness? For some of you, this is about starting some new project. But it's like you don't have enough awareness yet in terms of how or when. And I just heard the word, it's coming. So for some of you, this shows a new beginning, but you may have a general idea of what you want, but you're not sure how to get there or how it's going to happen. Okay. If this message fits you, you will have more, this message will make more sense to you around the month of October. Okay, so if you are resonating with this message, October, November is a time where you will have more clarity. Okay. Again, the same message. Walking out of your self-made prison. Walking out of your self-made prison. Maybe that's why I keep wanting to say air, because air is all about the thoughts. And I feel like this is very much a month where we are recalculating how we think. So seeing you walking out of your own prison and closing the door is a very good thing. And you're not taking prisoners with you. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Is there anything else for Sagittarians? I feel like you are waiting for some sort of a break and you're being very patient. And I see you waiting. And for some of you, this break seems to come from a different direction, something that you're not expecting. Okay, so this is a message for some of you. So the message here is be open to how information comes to you. Sometimes if the information doesn't come to us in a regular way, we tend to dismiss it. Okay, here's an example. Let's say you're looking for some clarity from your team in spirit or other dimensions to give you ideas what to do next, and you're not getting anything. Okay, that's just an example. So you're out and about in the city and you see a bus driving by and there is this huge ad and says proceed forward, and there's a vision of a person who is with archer who is aiming at something. Okay, and that connects with you as the message that your guides are telling you, ready to proceed. So that is how an information may come to you. So be open to that. Okay. At the same time, don't be gullible. Don't believe everything you hear. So there's room for discernment. There's room for discernment. It all goes back to, knowing where you stand. When you know where you stand, when you're more sure of yourself, then you're less likely to be influenced by information that doesn't serve you at the end of the day. Okay, I don't know who I'm saying it to, but I'm saying it to you. And I just heard end of a prison sentence. Man, I like these prison metaphors. Because prison to me is the opposite of freedom. We're all seeking freedom, but the freedom is really in the mind. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope this was helpful. If you would like to comment, please do. I love reading your comments. Like I said, you can connect with me down below if you would like to be part of the private page. That information is down below. Thank you so much once again. I look forward to seeing you soon, and take care.